China cuts cash to Venezuela. Venezuela can no longer tear the leaves of China's money tree after giving billions of dollars to Venezuela in the last decade. China is opening a new loan to the Latin American nation. Experts say the relationship between the two countries has been a huge reversal. At the same time, it is the worst time for Venezuela, which has become an economic and humanitarian crisis. The credits between China and Latin America are not particularly afraid of paying more money to China, Venezuela. Since 2007, state banks in China have lent $60 billion to Venezuela, more than he lent to other Latin American countries. China is seen as the most important creditor of Venezuela. Experts say Venezuela owes China $20 billion and there is no indication that it will pay back in the middle of the crisis. Venezuela repatriates most of its loans to China with oil shipments. According to the company's financial control, Venezuela's state-run oil company PDVSA last year shipped about 579,000 barrels of oil to China. However, Venezuela, which has the world's largest oil reserves this year, has dropped to its lowest level of 13 years in oil production. Some of their service providers, such as Schlumberger, have significantly reduced their operations due to bills not paid by the Venezuelan government. Experts, Socialist President Nicolas Maduro, said that he was leading the regime that misled Venezuelan resources and dragged the economy into a crisis. China has lost patience. The Chinese allow Venezuelans to be stupid, says the American institutional Chinese, who no longer want the Venezuelan people to be stupid. The Chinese Foreign Ministry did not reply to an explanation request. Venezuela's finance ministry has not responded either. Like the government, Chinese companies are losing interest in Venezuela. Since 2010, Chinese companies are investing an average of $2.5 billion annually on projects in Venezuela. According to ADI, we invested only $300 million in the first half of this year. Related, Venezuela Money in a Year Shears emphasized that if the Chinese give even a big credit to Venezuela before the end of the year, the data may change. However, he admits that China has no air to make more money. Last year, there was an annoying start to the Chinese Railways Engineering Company, which stopped its construction on the bullet train that Venezuela was working on. The construction sites of the train are now abandoned as a sign of a once blooming relationship. According to experts, China sees Venezuela as one of its greatest allies in Latin America. For cash and infrastructure development, China has sought the safe oil supply for many years. However, according to the IMF, China's embassies hit the reality of the crisis in Venezuela, where inflation would increase by 700% and the economy is expected to shrink by 8% this year. The currency has depreciated and many experts believe that Venezuela can ruin debt. Venezuela cannot afford to import many food and medicine imports with decreasing incomes, and it causes great difficulties in these items. Some Venezuelans may even go to America to buy basic items such as toilet paper and tuna. In the midst of widespread protest over Maduro's resignation, the government needs to be pushed without China's help. In Venezuela's special case, China is not willing to lend to him as a last resort. When the country is in a deep crisis, things can become more visible.